即係嚟緊就有請新加坡嘅 Simplify 3D 嘅講者啊 Wei-In 就幫我哋講講有關新加坡 3D printer 喺新加坡嗰方面嘅發展嘅。The coming talk is we invite a speaker that's from Singapore. His name is Mr. Wei-In. Yeah, and then he will give us a talk to talking about what's going on what's the 3D printer going on in Singapore. Yeah, thank you.
Right, a very good afternoon. Thank you to HK Kota for the invitation. My name is Wei-In. I'm from Singapore, from this company called Simplify 3D. And basically what I'm going to share today is actually our learning journey over the past coming to 2 years now. And our story actually began from a very simple idea to simplify. Okay? And this story actually started with a boy named Isaac. He was 16 years old at the time. That was in 2012. He was 16 years old, finishing his secondary 4 in Singapore. That's the O-levels year. And that was the year when he actually found out about 3D printing. He has a brother, 8 years old, and both of them got into 3D printing and got very interested in it. So what Isaac did was that he brought this technology. He went to his secondary 4, I think it was a science teacher, to talk about this technology, and he told his teacher that he wanted to bring this technology to the classrooms. I'm not sure what would happen in Hong Kong if somebody, one of you, went to the teacher and told the teacher about this. But in Singapore, for that particular school, for that particular teacher, what happened was the teacher said, no, this technology is too difficult. You are in Sec 4, concentrate on your O-levels. So Isaac graduated. He managed to pass his O-levels despite the 3D printer. And he went into the next stage, which is junior college. And because his younger brother was 9 years old, and the younger brother was already playing with the 3D printer, printing stuff every day. So Isaac, Isaac went to his JC, the junior college teacher again, told the teacher that there's this technology, he wants to set up a 3D printer club. Can you guess what's the answer again from the teacher? No. That is exactly the answer. No. Why? Because the technology is too difficult. It is something that 16 years old, 17 years old will not understand, will not appreciate, will not be able to learn. What do you think Isaac did after that? Wanna guess? What would you do? I like that answer because that was what Isaac told his father. Dad, I want to quit school. The father asked, why? Why do you want to quit school? So Isaac explained his situation. He said, the teachers are not interested in teaching. The teachers do not want the students to learn about the latest technologies. So, why should I stay in school? And that was why Simplify 3D started. His dad is my boss, co-founder of this shop in Singapore, Simplify 3D. And our motto is that now everybody can 3D print. We want to simplify the technology to tell people that, hey look, if an 8-year-old child can actually use a 3D printer, and just now I heard the principal said, 4 years old, kindergarten kids, they are using 3D printers. What is to stop all these 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds from learning the technology? Who is the barrier to learning? In Singapore, unfortunately, it is the teachers. So, our motto is that everybody can print, but our mission is about education. Maybe I should just speak without this microphone. It's pretty irritating.
Maybe just move away a little bit.
Now, I think the guys at the back, you're able to hear me if I speak like that? Good? Okay. Right? So, education is our mission. It's a roof that we want to be sheltered under. But in order to hold up this roof, we need 4 pillars. And we have 4 pillars. The first one, the academy. I think a lot of people think that education is about schools. It's about classroom. It's about teachers. It's about what course, what modules can you take. But can you imagine you have a house like that with only 1 pillar on the school? What is going to happen? It's not going to hold up this roof, the education. So, we have 3 more pillars. One of it is the services. I'm going to explain each pillar later on. Innovation, and finally community. And these 4 pillars hold up our big mission, education, and advocacy of this technology. Academy, as the name suggests, is all about schools. Yes, in Singapore we are also very creative. We use laptops as well. Okay? This is one of the classes that we held in one of the primary schools, teaching modeling. That's why you need a laptop. This one on the right just happened, I think, last week. Also a primary school, but this time around they are learning about ideation and product design using this 3D printing pen. Of course, ideally, we do not actually like to go to schools to teach. Mainly, of course, the barriers again, the teachers. So what we do is to actually invite classes, invite schools to actually come to our shop to go through what we call our learning journey. And this is basically a class where the kids will learn about basic theory, they have a bit of hands-on, and they get to see a lot more. Because in our shop, we have a lot of 3D printers. This is the academy pillar. We do run classes. This, teaching the schools, is necessary because the teachers, the students need to learn about it. But we do have a lot of other classes that we have created, and these are all very small classes. We teach like 4 to 6 students, all at our shop. Okay? These are for any age. We have taught from the youngest 6 years old all the way to the oldest was a 73-year-old lady. Right? So to us, learning, age is not the barrier to learning. You are the barrier to learning. You decide whether you want to learn, and this is what we have to offer. This is pretty old. We have a few more coming up, but this is some of what we have been doing over the past 2 years. So this is the academy pillar. Again, we need to survive. You can't have just one pillar. So the next pillar is our services. We have printers. So of course, we help people to print. They give us a model, we help them to print. Some people, they do not know how to 3D model. That's fine. We do design work as well. The one on the right was actually designed by he's a graphic designer. He does designs traditionally, pencil paper. To us, that's fine. Okay? If you do not know how to 3D model, either go for our classes, like what we showed you just now, Or you come to us, we help you to design, and we print it out. Of course, with 3D printing, we also have 3D scanning as well. This is something that we do at our shop previously, but now we have actually ventured out to special places. For example, those of you who have been to Singapore, there's this Art Science Museum. There was a Da Vinci exhibition just ended recently, and we were there to actually do scanning for the guests. So that's scan and print services. And then of course, sales of printers and filaments. This is only 1/4 of what we have in our shop. From the chocolate printer on the right, Ultimakers, all the way down to the big builder here. Right? We have quite a few printers. Last count I did this morning was I think 28 different brands. And you might be wondering, okay, so you're selling print services, you're selling scanning, you're selling printers, you're selling filaments. Where's the education? Are there any printer sellers, manufacturers here? Any? No? None at all? All from schools. If you are a printer manufacturer, do you see yourself as an educator? What do you think? Sorry? Selling machines. Do you think you are a teacher if you sell machines?
Try not to.
You try not to, right? And you're right. In the beginning, when we started our shop, we approached all the big companies. We approached Stratasys, we approached 3D Systems, and their answer was exactly what you said. They do not want to teach. Why? The moment I teach you about the technology, what are you going to do? You're going to go to my competitors and buy their printers. So for us, because we have so many brands, we are brand agnostic. And this alone is what we want to teach people about, that there are so many brands in the market. The question is, are you an informed buyer? You come in, you want to buy a printer, but do you know what you want? Or are you actually buying what the company says is good? If you are a printer manufacturer, you say, my printer is the best. I market my printer as doing such a high resolution, such a good quality, and then you buy, you buy. You don't buy, you don't buy. Okay? But for us, you come to the shop. We don't tell you which printer to buy. We show you all the different kinds of printers available. Now you choose. Now I have taught you what to look out for in a printer. You decide what is suitable for your needs. You need help? Come to us. We can advise you. And that is why services is also an important pillar in this whole education advocacy. Even for printing services. We have a lot of architects coming to us trying to print their models. But architects, traditionally, they have always been designing one-to-one scale. But guess what? There's no one-to-one scale printer in the world yet. So, what do? They have to scale it down 1 to 50. Or if you're printing with tiny boy, maybe 1 to 1,000, right? But then what happens? What happens to your walls? It used to be 1 to 1 is probably 1 meter thick. 1 to 1,000 is what? 0.01? You probably can't print with it. So when we do print services, that is what we do as well. We tell the designer, look, there are design limitations. There are printing rules. You cannot print everything. A lot of people advertise as, now you can print everything. Wow, new technology, third industrial revolution. Well, they can continue thinking that way, but for us, we are interested in telling people that, okay, there is this caveat. There are design rules. Your 3D printer nozzle has this nozzle diameter. You cannot print thinner than that if you rotate it in this direction. But maybe if you rotate it in another direction, it might be printable. Right? So these are the things that you can actually teach people if you run a print services. Of course, with this too, you need something else. You need innovation. And that is our third pillar, innovation. We do design our own printers. The one on the right is designed by us. made by us in a shop. It's open source. If you want, you can go and build it. Not the cheapest. I would suggest if you want something cheaper, go for Tiny Boy. Advertisement. Okay, but the idea of this printer is not so much the building. It was designed for education. Why? A 9-year-old, and we tested with that 9-year-old brother of Isaac. This printer can be built in 2 hours by a 9-year-old. Why? There are no screws involved. You do not need any tools. It's just slotted in snap-ons. Okay? But it's for education. You build it. You can print those little toys, but it's not for manufacturing. It's not for printing. It's not for our print service. Okay? The one on the right is actually an innovation by one of our guys. He went on to set up a company to sell this. It's a printer kit. Those who know will see it as an i3, Prusa i3. Those who do not know looks at it and wow, Transformer, Gundam. Look, okay, but it looks good. But this is 3D printer, and I'm going to tell you that this is not the end. 3D printers are just tools. What are they tools used for? They are tools used for innovation. Yes, you can print parts for a printer. You can print parts that you use on the product, and that's what we want to show as well. Innovation is about how are you using your printer, and that's what we want to teach people as well. This was actually from a print service. This guy, here's a bit of his background. He's a school dropout. He did not go through his secondary school. He dropped out at secondary 3. That was like 15 years old. At 15 years old, he dropped out of school, worked a lot of odd jobs, but now he actually designed this aquaponics system, and he came to us for print service. Okay, print service. I'm not sure if you can see, but the white color portion it was actually printed in natural PLA. That's why you see the lights coming. It's growth lights for the plants. Basically, aquaponics is such that you have the plants, the herbs on top, and then you have the fish at the bottom, and the water is cycled. Okay. And this is just a prototype. It is something that he designed for the desktop that he can sell in order for a bigger cost, right? And this is the next stage that he did, a much bigger one, a bit taller than me. Of course, I'm pretty short, so yeah, but it's taller than me. And this one is a much bigger setup, no longer 3D printed, but use wood. Now you think that, oh wow, so good, new innovation from 3D printed to not 3D printed, wow. But for us, we are always thinking about what is the next step. Innovation does not end here. There's only one arrow, but there is another arrow that goes up. So what is the next step? The next step is now we have we just got an intern. He's going to help us make it such that it's off-grid. It's going to be off-grid aquaponics system. Off-grid meaning you can see the solar panel out there, right? Right now that is just for show. It's actually powered by the electrical power circuit. Okay, it's just for show for now. But what this intern is going to help us with is to make it totally off-grid. You have the grow light, so you need electricity, but you do not want to tap from the power system. You don't want to power it from the grid. Okay, so it's going to be an off-grid system. Hopefully, what we hope to do is to actually set up an urban farm. You have a lot of disused warehouses, factories, industrial buildings. Once the manufacturing industry leaves your country, those buildings are disused. Usually the government will take over, but the problem is, if there's no ideas on how to use that building, it's going to be pulled down and some new shopping mall is going to go up. So instead of building more shopping malls, what we hope is to have urban farms where we can actually help the food supply of Singapore. Right? Singapore is a very small country, all food imported, most of the food. Right? We hope to have some food sufficiency, okay, self-sufficiency. So that's the innovation. A lot of ideas actually came out from this pillar that fits back to our academy, that fits from our print services. Right? And finally, because we are so in touch with our makers community in Singapore, we actually joined up with 5 other companies to form this consortium called One Maker Group. And we use this consortium to actually bid for a government project called the Prototyping Lab at National Design Center. It's just across the street from our shop. Okay? And this is going to go big this year, which I'll explain in a while. But this is a taster of what is going to happen, because as I mentioned, we are always thinking about what is next. What is our next step? 3D printing is just the first step. It is just a tool. Don't use it as the end. Okay, it's a means to an end, but what is the end? That is what we are trying to think about. Okay, and one of the things is the whole maker community. Okay. Talking about community, Singapore is very small. Our maker community is actually pretty small. So the 4th pillar, our community pillar, is where we want to open our arms to the region. We have our partners in Taiwan. Okay, they are doing pretty good. They just started doing well, but I saw what they've been doing. Okay, our partners in Taiwan, basically they will be running some sort of a simplified One Maker Group in Taiwan. Okay. We hope they will succeed, and also from them they might have some ideas, some causes, whatever new stuff that we can actually bring back to Singapore as well. And of course, I don't want to leave out my Hong Kong partners. Okay, they're just starting. Okay, but yes, we have a presence in Hong Kong now, and they are going to be our face in Hong Kong. So if you want to see how the faces look like, yeah, those pictures actually look like them. Those who can't see, they are right in front of them. Okay? Okay. So what is the next step? The bigger community. It's not just going to be about Singapore, but in June we are going to have this summit, Makerspace Summit, June 5th to June 7th. Okay? We are going to invite the region, the Southeast Asia makerspaces, all the heads of these makerspaces to come together in Singapore to actually discuss what is the business model of makerspaces, how do makerspaces survive, and how do makerspaces actually help the society at large. And with this larger network of makerspaces, makers, and creators, new ideas can be formed that we hope to feed back to the whole education group. Right? So it's not just about 3D printing, it is something more. Thank you for your time. This is my name, and this is our Facebook page. Please take a look. Thank you.